Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean P. the Bluff guy. Hey, that one was kind of weak today. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired today, but it's all good. It is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, today, we just got out of. We just pretty much got. It's pretty much the day after the official chapter drop. So I kind of wanted to get, on Mondays I kind of like to get opinions of other YouTubers. Like I try to switch it up, right? I try to switch it up. So I try to get opinions of other YouTubers, their opinions on the previous chapter, right? The most recent chapter that usually drop, right? So there was one opinion that I really did want to get though, and that was definitely Joy Boy Theories because I know Joy something like this that Joy Boy gonna go wild and probably go some crazy routes at times, but I know this is right up Joy Boy's alley, and I know like me and him have some like the way he thinks, like I feel as though we're kind of similar, right? How we kind of take situations and some of the things. Like he's one of maybe the few other YouTubers that I really heard that also believe about the spirits in Wano, right? Like spirits coming in Wano. So I kind of want to hear his thoughts on this recent chapter and maybe if it relates to the spirits because I think it could. I think that death, right? Like Luffy being so near death, if he wasn't already dead, I think he was dead personally. But either that or he was near death, right? And same with Zoro, but Zoro hasn't got any type of awakening yet from being it, like Luffy has, right? So I want to see if maybe he kind of think what I think, because I kind of think that this might be this awakening has to do with Luffy being near death, right? So maybe it was an opportunity for Joy Boy, like I'm not saying Joy Boy possessing Luffy, but okay, maybe I'm saying Joy Boy possessed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that might be what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm tripping. But yeah. So, but before we get into that, first, y'all know I gotta do my plugs, man. Y'all know I gotta do the plug. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell as well. Also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and on my Facebook, so you can stay updated and when I drop things. And if you're looking for a One Piece community to be a part of, we have the One Piece Discord and the One Piece Facebook group. All of these will be linked in the description as well as the video we are about to react to. Let me see what these chats are saying. We got Cube in the building. He says, I am here. I am here first just to say awesome work, man. The community is blooming. Let's go squad or say let's go squad. That's what you're saying, squad. I was thinking Squidward, like but you say let's go squad. Yeah. See you in 11 minutes. Shout out to Cube. Cube was here early. Yeah, once I went live, I seen that comment. I'm like, okay. Cube gonna be here today, man. It's always good to see Cube, It's always good to see Cube. He wasn't here yesterday, or he came late yesterday, I think. And I don't think he was here Friday for the Friday stream. But it's all good, man. It's all good. He here today, so But yeah, man. I appreciate the words of encouragement, man. Yeah, the community is definitely growing, right? And it's thanks to you guys, honestly. It's thanks to you guys. You guys been retweeting, be showing my tweets some love and everything on Twitter. Yeah, and also the content creators, the other YouTube, because I've been getting support from them guys. Like Best Gen, we got Best Gen in the chat as well with the Vizlord. Man, I gotta know what that mean, man. I see you say that a lot, but I'm not sure what Vizlord If it's YouTube lingo, I'm sorry, I'm not that good with the YouTube lingo. But I'm gonna have to find out what that means. And we got Cube. He says, "Hey, Best G and Bluff, what's good, Cube? What's good with you?" Shout out to Best Jen and Cube. Also, shout out to Angels Room. We got Angels Room in the chat. He said, "Yo, just got here." Hey, bro, it's good you here. It's good that you're here. You know, me and you had that. We had that discussion yesterday, a little after the stream. Best Jen said, "Sup. What's good with you, Best Jen? What's good? I'm glad you made it today, man. I'm glad you made it." Cube said, "Later on, I'd like to have a talk about the voice of all creation. Might have something interesting." Oh, y'all still on that voice of creation thing, man. Let's do that on Discord, man. We'll do that on Discord. But I know you probably want to get on the stream. I've been thinking about something like that where I'm gonna start. I'll talk about it. Then we got Desness in the building. He said, "Hey, what's up? What's good, Desness? Hello, fellow pirates." And then Q said, "How's the dog doing?" Hey, Q, you can't be taking Desness lines like that, man. He got those not copyright. I forget the word for it, but yeah, he got like a patent on that line or something, right? Desmond said, "Hi, awesome." Q said, "I had issues with these last few days. Happy to be back." Hey, man, I hope you good, man. I hope you good. I hope you settled all those issues. You know, you and Desness, man. Like, I know Desness was going through his sickness, right? Best Jen said, "Angel Thump Community." We got Shane Burns in the building. He said, "Was that chapter fire or what?" Yeah, it definitely was, man. You missed. Was you here for the stream? Did you show? I think you showed up, but you was here for like a small period of time, at least in the chat. Man, yeah, it was a good stream yesterday, man. That was a long stream too. Probably the longest stream I've done. Right? It was like a little over 3 hours. I think before then, I think I was like creeping on 3 hours, but like my last longest stream was creeping on 3 hours, but I don't think it was past. But I don't even remember what my last longest stream was, honestly, because I just be pumping these out, man. Best Jen said, "Hope you're doing better, Cube." Yeah, man, I hope you're doing better, Cube. I hope you're doing better, man. Shane Burns said, "This wait, though, I wish I could just sleep through it all." Hey, man, the wait is part of the game, man. The wait is part of the game. I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to talk about this Sunday, though, right? I'm willing to take any suggestions from you guys. Y'all can suggest them in the Discord or something. But I got to see what I'm going to do Sunday. I don't have any plans. We don't have a chapter. Sundays are usually for the chapter, right? But we ain't got a chapter, so I might do like maybe an SBS read or something, or maybe find like a fan made chapter to react to, or we could just have a conversation. I don't know, or we could do both. We could find something to read and then maybe talk about some things, because there are some things I want to talk about. Right. So yeah. Best Jen said the random names within the are emotes. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I know what you. I think I see what you're saying. The when you said the Vizlaw thing, I get what you're saying. They're emotes. That's what they are. Okay. I didn't know that, because it don't come in as like like an emoji or anything. Shane Burns said, "Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I do remember you there for like Like you was there for a bit. It's all good. I do remember you being there. Best just said, don't know why they don't show up on the screen for you. Yeah, I don't know why either. Like some of the emotes do, but like the Vizlord one doesn't for some reason. I don't know. I'm looking on my YouTube right now. You know, because sometimes I gotta switch between my phone, but like if I got like a video up, like I'm usually looking at the chats on my phone, but like sometimes I look at the chats on my SBS and it's not showing up on either, right? Shane Burns said I didn't get home till almost 8 p.m. Left town at 2 or so. Okay. Oh, so you was driving when. Nah, I got you. So you couldn't really talk. I got you. Cube says all good, just things that cause scheduling issues with the live. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe I'll try to look into it as well. And then maybe get back at you. All right, so okay, so the video today we're doing is pretty much titled "Hey YouTube, Joy Boy is here." It's almost kind of like Joy Boy's intro, right? Hey YouTube, Joy Boy here, right? So I feel like Oda made that chapter for Joy Boy, right? Like he made that last part of the chapter specifically for Joy Boy, right? Because that's Joy Boy's intro, right? Hey YouTube, Joy Boy here, and that's the title of the video we're reacting to, right? And I guess it's just gonna be heavily centric about the whole Joy Boy return thing, right? For that we seen in the last chapter. I didn't really get to talk about a lot of the other stuff in the chapter, but I mean, come on, like, hey, I'm not even mad at it, right? I'm not even mad at it because that last part of the chapter, like the last 2 pages of the chapter was just so fire, right? Like we know we got a lot of fighting between Kaido and Luffy. We know that Kaido was gonna murder Stomp the CP0 agent like he pretty much did. Now I don't think the guy's dead. Like it'd be kind of sad if he died and we still don't even know what's his name, Cube? Scarfino. Scarfino. You gotta put that in the chat, his name. I forgot the name, man. But Scarfino, like, I don't think Scarfino dead without us knowing the man's name, right? We never got an Oda box for none of these CP0 agents, But, yeah, so what else happened in that chapter? I hardly remember what happened in the chapter. Oh, yeah, Kaido was going crazy, pretty much talking about, looking for Momonosuke, even though Momonosuke was, like, right outside, right? Like, I guess he didn't peep where Momonosuke was, And then Momonosuke pretty much saying, Momonosuke saying, look, maybe I should turn myself in, but Yamato like, no, you're just going to pretty much be a slave. If we're going to die, we might as well die fighting Kaido. That's pretty much what Yamato said to Momonosuke, like samurai, Because she's been in Wano since that whole time, that whole 20 years of, like, the whole time skip that Momonosuke and Kanjuro, Kinemon, all them pretty much went to. So she was still in the normal time, right? Like, they pretty much left time and skipped time, right? But she lived through all that. So she really witnessed how Kaido and Orochi's presence impacted Wano. Even though she was in Onigashima the whole time, she knew of it, right? Because she was around the daimyo, like all the daimyo, and yeah, she knew there was something. She knew there was something going on. I can't say she knew the state of Wano, but she knew it wasn't good. Because Kaido didn't really have good intentions. Best just said, you need to install better TV. Yeah, Yeah, Cube, install better TV. Maybe that'll help you. Less than 1 minute, and then you see it all. Oh, are you talking about me? Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'll check out better TV. If you know, or unless you're talking about Cube, I don't know. I'll look at. Uh, got these smoothie burps, y'all. Sorry about that. Uh, Joy Boy's brand shot up to the sky, right? Right? Cube said Dripper Scarfino. Shane said Dripper Scarf. Okay, so Dripper Scarfino. That's what we. Yeah, that's the name, man. So it's Dripper Scarfino. We saw the opening scene of Kaido blasting the ground. Oh yeah, in the are you talking about in the anime opening? Because a lot of people, I think a lot of people think that was Law's sword. Because remember, Law's sword pretty much blasted from Onigashima to the ground. So yeah, um, hey man, they blasting that music, boy. Hear that from in here. Angel's Room said he ran out of hockey, I guess. Are you talking about Kaido? He ran out of observation hockey. He couldn't tell where Momonosuke was. Yeah, that could be the case, you know. But I kind of have a different. I have a my own thoughts on how observation hockey work. You know, like I think you have the basic form of observation hockey, which is kind of like the that it it's kind of seeing into the future, but it's not like Katakuri seeing into the future, where Katakuri could see like 7 seconds into the future. I think normal hockey is more like I could see what's about to happen. Like it's like spider senses, right? Like, but it's more of a like oh this is about to happen, or oh you need to move because this is gonna happen, right? So I think it's like that. So I think when you awaken observation hockey, though, I think how your observation hockey awakens is dependent on what type of fighter you are, right? Because like Luffy, he's a hand to hand fighter, up close quarters type fighter. So when he awakened it to see future sight because that helps him in hand to hand battles, right? Helps him avoid punches because you can see him a couple seconds into the future. But somebody like Usopp, who's a sniper, right? Like seeing into the future wouldn't really help Usopp. I mean, well, I'm not saying it wouldn't, but it could help. But it doesn't help as much as like knowing where your target is, like being able to sense where your target is, their presence, like we seen in Dressrosa when he was able to really pinpoint Sugar's location, and he also was able to pinpoint Luffy and who else was with Luffy? Was it Zoro? I think it was Zoro. It was somebody with Luffy. I don't remember, but and then he ended up saving Luffy, right? Might have been Sanji, honestly. I don't remember though. But that's how Usopp's conquered or observation hockey bloomed or awakened, even though he pretty much I think Usopp kind of cheated the system, right? Like I think he not only awakened his observation hockey, I also believe he awakened like he not only did he get observation hockey at that point, he also awakened observation hockey. All at like one go. Like I think what he was using in Dressrosa was advanced observation hockey. You know, because we've never seen anybody with normal observation hockey do anything of that level, right? Now Fujitaro, on the other hand, I think his observation hockey compensates for his blindness, right? Like his awakening, to where he could like sense people, and I think he could sense their feelings to a degree. So yeah, but let me read these chats, and we're gonna get into the reaction. Shane Burns said, yeah, the anime opening when Kaido is blasting, I think that's the scene we saw in the manga. Okay, I had to watch the anime opening again because sometimes I don't fully pay attention. Well, I think I like watched it once and then after that once I skip it, right? So I gotta watch it again to really observe it because I'm not just to see what you're talking about, right? Angel's Room said, "See the color or see their color." He ran out of hot. Oh, so like he couldn't see. Or are you talking about Fujitaro? I think you're talking about Fujitaro, right? Then Cube says normal observation hockey is Luffy versus Pacifista. Agreed. He saw just as Pacifista was about to attack. Advanced observation hockey must be to sense once there's an intent to attack. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if because I don't know if you necessarily need to. Somebody has to be attacking in order for you to be able to sense, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I'm not saying you're wrong, no, Cube. I just don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but I just think there's basic hockey, which is kind of like the like you could see maybe a second into the future or 2 seconds and just enough time for you to react, and then there's like advanced to where you could kind of expand on that. But even basic, I might be even wrong about that, honestly, because like there could be some level of presence sensing in basic hockey as well. It just might not be that advanced, right? It might not be able to you might not be able to do what Usopp done as far as sensing presence, right? I don't know, man. Observation hockey is like we still haven't really got much of an explanation for it, but you know, it's tricky, I guess. Evil said, "Hope y'all having a great day." Shout out to Evil in the building. Hey, man, welcome to the chat, Evil. Welcome to the chat. It's always good to see you, man. Angel's Room said, "For me, first stage observation is voice. Second stage is seeing color." I don't. I disagree with that. Cause like we've seen people, like just. I don't think it has anything to do with voice. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Best Jen said, "Greetings, you two, evil." So yeah, he's talking to Evil. Best Jen said, "Observation hockey is most elusive for sure." Yeah, it's not. It's not as straightforward as like armament, right? Like armament, I think is a much more straightforward hockey, right? It acts like a armor, but it can also act like a weapon as well, or it's like a coating, you know what I'm saying? But there's some advances to it as well. But observation hockey a little more tricky though, and then you got Conquerors, which is a little more cut and dry as well, but it's probably a little more trickier than, let's say, armament though, because we still don't know much about Conquerors. But I think observation is probably the more complex of the three. I think it might be a little more versatile too in some aspects. Because I think that's when you could, observation. You could see, it could help you with attacks, but then it can also help you with like maybe feeling like feeling someone's feeling. Like you could see people's feelings or see how people feel, right? Like seeing emotions almost. Like it's a little complex, but Evil said, "Keep the great work, Best Generation," and Best Generation said he's honored and he said thank you. Anyway, let's get into this video. No further wait. It's Joy Boy. Hey YouTube, Joy Boy is here, and The link to this video will be in the description, so y'all make sure y'all show Joy Boy some love and hit go to the video and like it. Maybe subscribe if you like his work. Let's continue.
Hey YouTube, Joy Boy here. So, wow, One Piece chapter 1043 is out. If you guys haven't checked out that chapter yet, I suggest that you do so, because I will be spoiling you, as well as everybody else. Everybody will be spoiling you. Now that you have, let's begin. Wow, it is like incredibly surreal that we are in this moment right now. That this moment, this chapter, this reveal, it's like a real thing, because, I mean, damn, I feel old. We've been waiting for this since Fishman Island, which was like 12 years ago. I know that Oda primed us for this, and I expected something about Joy Boy in this arc.
Hey, real quick, I got a question, because now that he said, like, we've been waiting for this for 12 years. Somebody in the chat yesterday, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was either Stan or Angels or one of y'all or something. But y'all pointed out how every decade Oda kind of gives us a hint of something, and then like every decade he always kind of gives us a hint of a major story plot, and then I guess he touches on it at the end of that decade. So I don't know, like, just whoever was, comment if you're in the chat right now, like, definitely kind of explain what you said again yesterday. It might have been Stan, and I don't know if Stan's in the chat right now. But yeah, just repeat what you said, because that was a good point. That was a very interesting point y'all said. But anyway, sorry, let's continue.
I wasn't sure what it was going to be. A reveal of who Joy Boy was, how much, a small detail. I still wasn't prepared. But I think even more than that, Oda just knows how to deliver. Look, time and time again, without fail, he doesn't want you to believe a thing will happen, and works his hardest that the moment before it happens is when it is most difficult to believe that thing. It is absurdly consistent and works almost every single time. And I know that it's coming.
He
as
does
early
do that.
as last week, right? There's a question. Is Momo Joy Boy? And I tell you guys this time and again. The first answer is often the right answer. You'll go hundreds of chapters in the past, some idea will occur to our brains naturally. It's like, oh, is Lola the daughter of Big Mom? And there's many examples of this. Is Luffy Joy Boy? Seems like the easy answer. And then what Oda does is he tries to convince you that the easy answer is not the answer, and then he comes back to it, and it's the truth, and all the BS and the...
Bro, I be saying that. Like, I mean, that's why I've always tell people. I'm like, I know as theorists, sometimes we like to see more into certain things, but I'm always like, sometimes the simple answer is always the right answer. Sometimes the most basic answer is the right answer. But Oda does that though, like that whole like that time, right? That time where I remember for like a while, right, since like Dressrosa, there was a lot of YouTubers saying, yo, there's like a traitor. There's a traitor among the crew, and forever people was talking about like who this traitor is, right? Like, oh, it might be Kinemon. Oh, it could be Raizo. It could be such and such. I didn't hear a lot of people say Kanjuro. I didn't hear a lot of people. I'm not saying nobody did, because I think there was one person who said, like, there was one big YouTuber, or I don't know if he was big, but he was a YouTuber, and he was really like convinced that it was Kanjuro. He gave a lot of evidence, such as like the little ink birds, like his ability to make ink birds and send them to Orochi. Like, that's how he pretty much got the information that he was leaking out to Orochi and Kaido. He was using like ink birds, and then I think Kanjuro was probably the only one who I didn't really think about, because to me Kanjuro was always the most forgettable scabbard, right? He was always he was easily the most forgettable one. Like, he didn't really do anything great or have any great showings or great entrance or anything, or he wasn't extremely funny, you know what I'm saying, like all the time. Like, to me, Conjuro was easy to forget, so I just didn't think about him. But I think Oda intentionally did that. He made Conjuro easily forgettable, and that to me is why it stuck so much, because it should have been the most obvious one. It should have been the most obvious person, but like, I think Oda did such a great job of making Conjuro like the most forgettable Scabbard at that point. Best Gen says Joy Boy time, woo, wowee. So Angel's Room. Okay, it was Angel's Room that said that. I thought so. He said, I said 2000s we got the Willa D, yeah. 2010 we get Joy Boy title, and then 2022, which is, 2 years from 2020, but it's still early. It's still early, it's still early part of the decade. So I'll give you that. We get Nika, the sun god. Yeah, even though we did get you could say we got foreshadowing of Nika earlier, right? Back in Skypiea, so that would have been like what, 2000s, I guess. Evil said Occam's razor. That's what you're trying to say. Occam's razor. I'm confused. You got me confused, Evil. Best Gen said Oda makes you forget with the week-to-week releases. He knows the brain. Yeah, he do, man. He does, because like Conjuro was easily probably like the Scabbard that he was always just there, right? He just always seemed like he was there, never really contributing anything great. But again, that was evidence in itself. The fact that he never really helped, Cube with the wells, or he said, I haven't broken about the promise that made to Laboon. Like, you haven't broken your promise to Laboon? Or I haven't, or okay. You said, I haven't forgotten about the promise that made to Laboon. Yeah, man, shout out to Laboon, man. Shout out to Laboon. Let's continue.
The doubt that he throws at you, that he tries.
My bad. Evil said, Occam's razor is when the simple solution is the answer to a problem. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. Hey, I learned something new, guys. You definitely taught me something there, Evil. I never knew this. That was a saying or anything. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Sometimes sometimes things are like face value, right? Cube said Laboon versus, and then Evil said versus the long, complicated other option. Exactly. Let's continue.
To make you believe makes it all feel more worthwhile. But it's even more than that. If you just had a panel at the end of this chapter where Kaido exclaims that, Luffy is Joy Boy, or somebody else does that, then, there would still be people that would be really excited for the reveal. But I don't think that it would reach the level of hype that the chapter actually provides. Simply stated, it just wouldn't hit quite as different. Because at the end of the day, Momo confusion or not, Luffy being Joy Boy is not a monumental reveal by itself. It is not the most surprising thing in the universe. In my opinion, the best reveals in a story are either incredibly surprising while also making complete sense in an unexpected way, and or it gives you what you want, but it does it better than you expected. And that's pretty much 1043 in a nutshell, because it's not just a reveal that Luffy is Joy Boy or something similar to that. There is things happening at that exact same moment, which...
Bro, I definitely agree with him. I don't think the reveal itself was that grand. I think a lot of people believed Luffy was Joy Boy or a reincarnation, regardless which version, if you want to say he had the Joy Boy fruit or he is Joy Boy, he's a reincarnation of Joy Boy. I think everybody had a sense of like, yeah, Luffy has some connection with Joy Boy, right? So the reveal itself isn't, that surprising, but how it was done, you know, like Luffy most likely being killed by Kaido, and then that pretty much opens the door for Joy Boy, and then how we seen it, right? Like we get some mysterious like resin or goo or whatever you might think it is. We get that, and which that in itself creates conversation, right? Like it's like everybody has their own opinion and theory on what that was that's coming out of Luffy, you know. And then, you know, that's pretty much in the chapter. You know, there's no explanation. There's no you know, there's no real explanation, right? And well, other than what we got like a little bit before the reveal of Luffy, the smile, and then the goo coming out, with when we get Zunisha pretty much saying Joy Boy is here. So that is kind of like the reveal of Joy Boy, right? Zunisha saying it itself, you know. But yeah, man, that was a great moment. And then Oda just kind of just leaves it, right? He just left it, and then you're like, man, I gotta get to this next chapter, right? I gotta get to this next chapter. But let's continue.
Are mind-blowing and exciting. Luffy is literally melting. He also may or may not be literally dead. What the hell does that mean? The conspiracy theory level of this chapter is like 1,000 out of 10. In large part because this wasn't just the reveal of Joy Boy. At the same time, we're given new, mind-blowing mysteries to chew over that suggest answers or things that we weren't prepared for. I'm sure that not everyone is necessarily going to appreciate this, so I want to take a moment to do so. The layering of all of these reveals or suggestions of reveals at the same time to create this moment is incredibly difficult, and was amazing. So you guys already know what we're gonna do, right? Joy Boy theories! Alright, it's time to speculate. We're gonna speculate, and I'm gonna get really crazy, and it's going to sound plausible, probably. And just buckle up. But let's start with the rest of the chapter. The beginning, I think, was somewhat predictable. Cypher Pole interfered in the battle just as what happened against Odin, and Kaido wasn't happy. But I'll admit that Kaido's reaction, his anger, was a little less than I thought that it would be. Because by the middle of the chapter, where he comes down from the roof, for the most part, he seems in control. I was half expecting him to go full drunk mode or just, you know, kill everybody mode. What we actually got was comparatively tame. But from all this, the thing that actually has me most curious is after...
I mean, Kaido did go a little crazy, though, so... I mean, I get what he's saying, though. Like, it's like, it was tame in comparison to what you expected, but it wasn't tame at all. Like, he came busting through the Skull Dome, blasting his dragon's breath, all that, you know, demanding heads, right? You know, chewing bubble gum and kicking butt, right? But, you know, he ain't had no bubble gum at the time. So, but yeah, it was tame in relation to what you might have expected, but I wouldn't say it was tame though. He did come in pretty violent.
Kaido has realized that he's won, and it wasn't necessarily of his doing. He says, "Do you know what you've done?" And my answer for this, you know, my opinion, if Kaido was talking to me and I did this, I don't know what I've done. Why is it so important to you that nobody interfere in your fight, Kaido? I'm burning to know the answer to that question. But anyway, the next scene focused on Kawamatsu. Apparently, some people are trapped. There's a fire, and because the island is in the air, they have no access to water, and he basically reminds those people or tells them to not die. But what was interesting about the scene was that Oda focused on the third member of Cypher Pole, CP0, because we know that two of them have been active. We have Mas, the boss guy, and the other guy who Izo defeated, but they've been sort of on their own. And this third one has been missing, so now we see him, and it feels like pretty soon something's going to happen with him. The last we got from him was a call on Adendemushi to the other agents, in which he said that he reminded them to go capture Nico Robin, but he also warned them to escape, that the island was in danger. So we see him now observing events, so that fits. But anyway, as Oda took the time to focus on him in this
I don't know.
when he
I don't know.
to, I
don't
imagine
know.
that he's going to do something important here very soon. We then see Kaido appear through the hole in the ceiling, claiming that he has defeated Luffy and challenging everyone else. Obviously, you get some reaction to Luffy's defeat. I think that a lot of it is similar to what we've seen before, but we get this interesting line from Law. He says, Straw Hat Ya's voice has vanished. I think that this was expected of Momonosuke, but not of Law. In fact, I think that Oda has been very subtle about Law having the ability to hear, people's voices. In this way, alright, not the normal way. A lot of people are claiming that this is just a normal observation haki ability, but at the same time, I think that not everyone, has the same reaction. What about Sanji? What about Zoro? We know that they have observation, but, hearing the voice, this power seems somewhat niche. We've been with Law for hundreds of chapters now, but this is the first time that Oda has decided to reveal that Law can also hear the voices and presence of other people, perhaps in a similar way as Kobe, and I wonder if, why he wasn't more explicit with this earlier. Like, for instance, in Zou, I think that I speculated in the past that there was a panel, which we're not going to show here, but perhaps indicated that Law could hear Zunisha the same as Luffy and Momonosuke, despite the fact that he doesn't react at all to the elephant, and it seems very low-key and hidden. So I just want to know why, especially now that this power is somewhat confirmed. But anyway, we obviously know about Luffy.
Angel's Room. That's what we've been talking about, man. Me and you, Angel's Room, about hearing voices and all that. You know what? Like, I'm kind of thinking, right? Well, no, I don't want to say that. Because what I was going to say is maybe like the voice of all creations or the voice of all things, whichever one you want to call it. Maybe it's like a ability of the D's, right? The will of D. But then I don't think that would explain how Kobe was able to kind of hear, and maybe it may not be the voice of all things with Kobe. I don't know. I think it might be. I kind of think that Kobe might have it as well. I think there's more to Kobe than we expect, right? Well, maybe not like more to Kobe as like him being like some special person from like a special family, but to me, he was introduced like before, like he was pretty much the first friend Luffy made before even like Zoro and the other Straw Hats came along. And he pretty much, his dream was kind of like Luffy's dream, but directly opposed to Luffy. So, and that's kind of why I'm always saying like Kobe is kind of like he's like Monkey D. Garp to Luffy's Gold D. Roger, right? In that moment in Marineford, he might have the voice of all things, man. Like he really might, and it just that might be a clue that Kobe is going to be a big player by the end of the series. He's going to be somebody who's going to be like, he's going to be like maybe leading the Marines, maybe let's say like the Marines break into two factions. We got the Marines that are still loyal to the world government, and then the Marines that kind of doing like they're doing the coup, right? So I could see Kobe and like Sword, right? All the Sword. Maybe Kobe possibly leading Sword into this battle against maybe the other Marines. But yeah, I think Kobe's like he's like the I don't want to say the anti-Luffy, but he's like the Marine version of Luffy, right? He's like the Marine version of Luffy. I think the anti-Luffy is Blackbeard. If we talking about like a anti-Luffy, somebody who directly opposes Luffy in his dream and goals, right? I think that's Blackbeard. Best Jen said, Joy Boy, I don't know, man. I don't know, Best Jen. I'm just saying. the F and then says LOL. Stan says, I think it's just simple observation haki. Kaido also heard the voice of the supernova after he did a combo with Big Mom, as well as Big Mom. So I think it's just haki. Okay. I mean, so you probably on the same side as uh Angel's room. He think that normal hockey you can hear voices. I don't necessarily agree, but I think you maybe would hear voices to a degree, but I don't think it's like voice of all things, right? I think voice of all things you can. It's a lot deeper. It's a lot deeper. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if normal observation you can hear things, but send it to me in the Discord. Send me the panel you talking about, just to remind me what you're talking about. Angel's room said, I just think it's normal hockey for law. All right, let's continue.
At the end of the chapter, and something epic is going to come from that very soon. But in the short term, we have a setup of conflict between Kaido and Momonosuke. Kaido specifically asks for Momonosuke, which I thought was an interesting decision. I guess that Kaido views Momonosuke as the spiritual leader of Wano, and that in order to annihilate the rebellion once and for all, he needs to defeat him, which should lead to a reveal of what Momonosuke actually looks like now, I hope. So that seems like it's going to happen soon. But you guys already know, I still hope that Momonosuke being a dragon is of some importance to prophecy or Kaido or something, so I hope that's revealed too. But then we get a conversation between Momonosuke and Yamato, where Yamato is encouraging Momonosuke to fight, and Momonosuke wants to surrender. This is actually a really interesting conversation that I could spend some time talking about, because it almost feels like mixed messaging, right? There's been times where Oda has criticized samurai culture. They throw their lives away too easily, like they're trying too hard to die. And then as Momonosuke sort of takes a stance and argues, well, what's the point in fighting? We just throw away lives needlessly. We then have an argument for samurai culture. Fight until your last breath. But rather than Oda being wishy-washy about this idea, I think that we've yet to get the real moral of the story. And I think it'll be something like, the answer depends. Like, it shouldn't be extreme either way. It's not, you don't always need to throw your life away, and you also don't always need to run away. There's a time to run and survive, and there's a time to fight until the very bitter end. And it's not always one way or the other. Sometimes surrendering saves people, but sometimes you have to fight to the very bitter end because winning is the only way to save people. But yeah, I don't know exactly, but I think that Oda has something planned here. And then of course we have the end of the chapter. But before we get to the end, this is an obligatory mention about Denjiro. We have not seen Denjiro forever. He has disappeared. I think that it is very obvious that he is going to do something very soon, so prepare yourself. But yeah.
Denjiro. What was the last thing we seen from Denjiro? He was... what was the last thing we... Was it when, him and Kinemon who pretty much cut off all of Orochi's heads? Is that the last we seen of Denjiro? Or... What was the last thing we seen from Denjiro? Angel's room said, I think humans can hear human voices with observation. Yeah, what was the last thing we seen from Denjiro though? Yeah, I don't remember. Somebody remind me in the chat. I'm honestly forgetful. When we look at all the scabbards, we got Kinemon and Okiku, who are pretty much on the back of the giraffe smile dude, the one he's like the giraffe. I forget his name. He's pretty much irrelevant. The giraffe smile guy and Speed. I think Speed is also with him, and there were like Usopp and Nami. Then we got Ashura Doji, who pretty much sacrificed himself with that fake Odin when he pretty much had those explosives. He pretty much sacrificed himself, so he might be dead. I don't know. You know, it wouldn't be. Come on now, we seen Pell survive explosions, so I wouldn't be shocked if Ashura Doji's still alive, right? And then we got Izo, who I think Izo was stopped by the CP0 agents, but I don't know if Izo is dead for certain, right? No, I think what happened? This was a couple chapters ago. I don't know if he's dead, but he was stopped by the CP0 agents. Then we got Kawamatsu, who we seen this last chapter, him and Nekomamushi. We didn't see Inuyasha, right? We didn't see him. And I don't remember what. I think the last time we seen Inuyasha, he was fighting Jack. He beat Jack. And then, man, I'm trying to think of all the scabbards, right? I'm forgetting scabbards. Kanjuro turned on him and he got defeated, turned into Kazumbo. And Raizo was pretty much in that fight with Fukuro Koju, and I think Jinbei pretty much saved Raizo. So, yeah, I think Denjiro is the only one that's really not accounted for. Him and Ashura, because we don't know if he's still alive. Best Gen said Denjiro and Ashura got destroyed the last time we have seen them. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I remember Ashura being destroyed from that explosion, right? But I just don't remember how Denjiro was destroyed. But yeah. Stan said, yeah, the last time we saw Denjiro was when the scabbards cut off Orochi's head. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I'm going to have to, now I got to go back and do some research for Denjiro later just to see what's up with him. You know, I kind of thought he'd be there to help, like, not Kamarasaki, but Hiyori take revenge on Orochi, right? Like, I think that'd be dope if let's say Orochi springs up and turns into his Hydra form, and then Denjiro pretty much saves Hiyori. But yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the end of this chapter. I can't be the only one who thinks that Luffy has actually...
It was chapter 1009. So yeah, we haven't seen him for more than a year in real time. Damn. Couldn't have been that long. Dang. That's a long time.
Died. I know that it isn't confirmed that this is the truth. But certain things happen in this chapter which makes this idea, as ridiculous as it sounds, plausible. Luffy has been knocked out, in this arc alone, at least twice. And never once do we see any comments about Luffy's voice disappearing. But in this chapter we got it from two characters. We got it from Law and we got it from Momonosuke. Two characters that you would have expected, perhaps earlier in the arcs, to have had similar concerns, similar reactions when Luffy was knocked off the island and passed out and fell into the sea. But we don't see that. And it's not as if there was an opportunity. Momonosuke, for instance, immediately after Luffy is knocked into the sea, we have a scene with Momonosuke talking to Yamato, and not once does he say out loud or seem concerned about the fate of Luffy. There's no reaction about Luffy's voice disappearing. It makes this defeat feel different, even more final. But there's another panel which adds intrigue. It's revealed earlier in Onigashima that Kaido can hear people's voices the same as Momonosuke and Law. So I think that Kaido would know whether or not Luffy was alive or dead. And he states definitively that Straw Hat Luffy is dead. And as another fun fact, after Kaido knocked Luffy off of the roof and watched him fall into the sea, not once does he say that Luffy has died. I think at best there was the assumption that Luffy would die because he fell into the sea, but not that he had actually already died. Again, this moment in this chapter hits a little differently. Luffy isn't just defeated, he is dead. Or at least it could be true. I'm not going to say definitively that it is because we don't know that. But there's an argument to be made. And as this coincides with Zoro's situation right now, where there is a question as to whether he lives or not, I wonder if Oda might turn this into the next thing that is absolutely going to destroy us. Because the honest truth is, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, but in this chapter, it has basically been confirmed that somebody who is dead is not as dead as you might think. Obviously, I'm talking about Joy Boy. Like, I honestly don't even know where to begin with this. We see Luffy at the end of the chapter. He is knocked out or dead or whatever, it doesn't matter. There's a scene of a conversation between Momonosuke and Zunisha where Zunisha can hear it. And Momo doesn't know what it is, and Zunisha says, I can hear Joy Boy. He has returned. And then Luffy makes a noise. He says, Nika, which is a kind of audible laugh, and not his normal laugh. So first things first, some obvious conclusions that we can make if Oda isn't just straight up trolling us. The Sun God Nika and Joy Boy, same person. Like, that just seems, I don't have to argue that, do I? This is actually pretty similar to what we speculated before. I believe what I actually speculated when the Sun God Nika was introduced was I thought that Joy Boy was a person that existed during the Void Century, and that their spirit had been.
Yeah, I think that's the case. The Joy Boy being Sun God Nika, because when you look at if you look at the history, right, we got Joy Boyo, right, like we talked about the real life Joy Boy, right, not the because there's also like a Haitian spirit named Joy Boy who's like the spirit of music, right? But like we got the Joy Boyo or Jaya Bea, right? The one we talked about a couple like last week sometimes. And he was believed to be the living incarnation of the god Vishnu. It's Vishnu, right, Cube? If you're still in the chat, I'm pretty sure it's Vishnu, right? Who's like a Javanese god, right? And they say Jaya Bea is Vishnu, right? The living incarnation of Vishnu. So if that's the case, and let's say Oda is getting some inspiration from the whole Javanese history and like that Javanese history, then maybe he also took that idea that Joy Boy would be kind of like the living incarnation of a god as well, which god being Sun God Nika, right? Yeah. So Best Gen said, good take on the dead. Nope, not confirmed. The sound effects Nika is being used for laughs for half the series. People have made that connection a long time ago. Okay. He said, I think, the whole Nika, like that kind of means laughter, right? Yeah, I've heard people make that connection. And then Cube says Vishnu. Yeah, okay, so I'm right. Cool.
Reborn into various bodies over the course of the next 800 years. So I thought that the spirit of Joy Boy has lived multiple lives after Joy Boy himself has died. And one of those lives was the Sun God Nika, or the person that created the legend of the Sun God Nika, and the next person, or the current person with this soul, would be Luffy. This theory still is plausible. But after this chapter, even though it is very...
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think I said that before, like, I could see there being, like, let's say, different Joy Boys, right? Like, or Sun God Nikas, maybe. Because maybe Joy Boy is just, kind of a title he got, during that time, right? And, but he was, like, he's still kind of a incarnation of Joy Boy, of the Sun God Nika. But, maybe after Joy Boy died, he was brought back many times, but each time it was like he either failed at the ultimate goal, which is to unify the world, or he either failed or it wasn't the right time. Like maybe Goldie Roger was also Joy Boy. He was Joy Boy at the wrong time, so he couldn't be. Even though he did say I couldn't be Joy Boy. So I guess he did kind of confirm himself, but maybe he was, but it's like he just came at the wrong time, like, because he did say he was too early to, pretty much succeed at whatever the plan was, or he was just too early, like when he pretty much heard about Shirahoshi being born, he learned he was too early, right? So But he could have still been Joy Boy though. He could have still been Joy Boy. Just it would have been like he just was too early, right? But Joy Boy probably makes his return every so often. It's just sometimes he just either too early, too late, or he fails. Like maybe sometimes he's there on time. He has all the resources that he needs, but he just fails, right? Luffy is probably going to be the Joy Boy that actually succeeds, It's kind of like the Matrix, right? Kind of like the Matrix. We got the one, right? Neo, who is the one. But I think there's like there's been different Neos or different the ones before him. It's just they all failed, and that's kind of like similar premise. Neo, the Neo that we see in the Matrix movie, though, he was the one that succeeded. Cube says, but that Joy Boy has awoken in 799 years and 365. So he's just like one day too early to be a complete 800 years, right? Oh man. Stan says, according to Uteron, based on the puns of the upcoming chapters, Luffy being Joy Boy is not him being possessed, but rather his personality will change from his normal one, like Nightmare Luffy. And he also says he will still be Luffy. It's just that he will act different. Oh, I mean, I don't think Luffy is like not for once do I believe that Luffy is gone. And I don't think that like Joy Boy possesses his body and he's going to be the new Luffy for here on out, right? And the Luffy that we once known is gone, is dead. I don't believe that, right? I'm not saying that. But Cube says we did foreshadow Nightmare Luffy. Yeah, on the well, I didn't, but Elids, I think he kind of did, and I just kind of went along with the speculation, right? Like, no, I did because but that's because I thought that Blackbeard and might come to Wano, right? Like I thought Blackbeard could come to Wano with Gecko Moria, and we see another Nightmare Luffy, because I feel as though Moria still has a lot of issues with Kaido that still kind of need, like we need some closure with Moria and Kaido. And I would think like if Moria end up coming to Wano, he would probably want to help Luffy beat Kaido. So, they might do a alliance and, Moria will give him a bunch of shadows. And then I think Elids had a different version of his Nightmare Luffy where it was more based on souls, right? But I don't know if at this point I don't think Gecko Moria is showing up in Wano, so that theory kind of went out the window a long time ago, right? OP or One Piece has the same energy as the Matrix for sure. Yeah, man, like the whole one thing, but I think it could be something along that line when we talking about like the Joy Boys and Q said I went with Elids and you, hence us. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's why he said we. Cause at first I was about to say like that wasn't me, that was Elids, but then I had to remember like I was saying that too, so I got a bad memory, Cube. Come on now. I tell you this all the time. Stan says, not saying he will become Nightmare Luffy, but rather he will act like him, but in an opposite way. Okay. Let's continue.
Very similar to what we speculated, and you could still speculate it. I would say that it is not my belief anymore. And the reason for this is that it does not appear as though Luffy has the soul of Nika or Joy Boy reincarnated. It appears as though his body is cohabitated by Nika, Joy Boy. Like, there's Luffy's soul and personality is distinct from whatever it is that we see in this chapter. The main reason I feel this way is because of the distinct laughter. It's not Luffy's normal she. It's Nika. And that itself implies that somebody other than Luffy is the one making the noise. If he was simply reincarnated one soul traveling over time, then Luffy's normal laugh would probably be Nika. So he's being possessed. And we gotta ask ourselves, how the hell is Joy Boy Nika possessing Luffy? What's funny about this is another thing.
Bro, I tell you, me and Joy Boy theories be thinking alike, bro. Like, I'm like this, bro. I get it, y'all. Like, I know y'all don't like the whole possession thing, but this ain't Luffy, man. This ain't Luffy. This person we're seeing isn't Luffy. You know what I'm saying? Well, okay, I don't want to say that. Cause, I mean, it's Luffy because it's still his body, and I'm not saying he's dead, but like I don't think that's Luffy, right? I don't think that's Luffy. I think Luffy is still... I don't think at this point, I don't think he's dead. I think he was dead, but I think with this possession, this possible possession at least, it revived Luffy, you know, but at the moment, I think Luffy is just Luffy's consciousness, his soul. I think it's unconscious. I think he's unconscious. I think, you know, his will and everything is silent, right? It's silenced. But I think Joy Boy is in control of the reins at the moment. Like the soul of Joy Boy is, and I think it's like a cohabitation thing. I don't think it's like I don't think it's Joy Boy is just going to take over Luffy's body from here on out. No. But I think at the moment, Luffy is unconscious. He was dead, but after the possession, you know, he became alive again, but he's still unconscious. And right now we're seeing Joy Boy, right? We're seeing Joy Boy. Like goddamn motorcycles. What's his name? Zunisha. Zunisha even said like Joy Boy is here. He's back. As in like he's physically here. He's not like he's here, right? So I think it's a possession. I'm really like actually now I'm kind of on board with it being a possession. Like at first I was kind of trying to avoid it, but I kind of said it as like an alternate thing, like a joke, but I think it's possession. Angel's Room said, or no, hold on. Stan says, for example, Nightmare Luffy was serious and his voice was deep. So if we stick with the two sides of the same coin, then the new version of Luffy will be the opposite of Nightmare Luffy. Well, Luffy at that point, his personality was affected by all the shadows that was in him. Like he also took on the like it was affected. Like he was affected by those shadows, his personality. So it was still Luffy and it was still his personality. It was just an altered personality. And I actually kind of agree with you. I think that like, but I still think it's a possession. It's just the soul of Joy Boy is possessing Luffy. And I don't know how long Joy Boy's like the essence or the soul will stay in Luffy's body. If it's going to be like a cohabitation type thing, or if it's just going to like kind of like unite with Luffy's soul or whatever. And maybe we'll get little differences of Luffy. But we can't even really talk about Luffy's personality that much because we didn't really get that much other than like the laugh, which yes is different. And, you know, the fact Zunisha said Joy Boy is here, you know. Like, we don't really have a full understanding of how his personality is in this current state, you know. Angel's Room said Blackbeard personality theorists would love this. Blackbeard, there's a guy named Blackbeard personality theorist. That's interesting. Does he do like is all his videos about like Blackbeard's personality or something? Stan said, by the way, I still don't understand where people got the idea that him saying Nika was a laugh when in the official translation there is no Nika laugh. It just says grin. Oh yeah, I agree with you on that too. Like I kind of glossed over Joy Boy saying there was a Nika laugh. I don't remember seeing anything about Nika in the official because I only read the official. So I kind of agree with you. It was like grin or whatever, you know. But that's sometimes the translations could change things, right? It could change things. You know, which translation do you go with? The official translation? I go with the official. You know, can the official be wrong sometimes though? I don't know. Angel's Room said Nine Tails type beast or Ichigo hollow form. But you see Angel's Room, the thing with like the Nine Tails in the hollow is they're kind of possessions, right? They're possessions. Like Ichigo's hollow form is when he's possessed by his darker part, right? Is the hollow within him. And the tail beast is like the Nine Tails that lives within Luffy or Naruto, and he possesses Naruto's body sometimes. So it could be something like that, though. It could be something like that, right? Like Joy Boy, like every once in a while he like let's say this, right? Like let's say the resin that we seen from Luffy was indeed the awakening of Luffy's fruit, right? Like the real awakening, you know. So what if it's something along the line like Luffy has to pretty much go into his Joy Boy state, or it's kind of like the Avatar state, or the Nine Tails state, right? What if he has to go into the Joy Boy state in order to have full access of his devil fruit? Because that would honestly kind of make sense if you think about it, right? Like maybe Joy Boy knows how to use any devil fruit to the full extent. Like maybe at one point he had all the devil fruit abilities. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here, right? But maybe or I'm just saying, like maybe Joy Boy just knows how to use that devil fruit to the full extent because he had it, maybe, or maybe he just fully know the secrets of using devil fruits. So whoever's body he was in, he could use their devil fruit to the maximum, right? So maybe this is what we're seeing. Joy Boy possessing Luffy's body, and he's using Luffy's that special devil fruit Luffy has to the full extent. You know, when Luffy doesn't know how to do that just yet. Stan says, I hardly disagree that it's possession, but hey, everyone has his own headcanon. Yep. Let's continue.
That we have speculated for this arc. I've talked about the land of the dead coming back to life, and even the dead possessing the living. We've talked about this with Odin and Yamato, that I thought that Odin, who is dead, is going to possess Yamato's body so that Yamato becomes Odin. You might then think, oh, well, this must be what JB believes, right? He speculated it. Now, even if it's different characters, this thing has come to pass. But no, don't believe this either. I don't think that we should ignore any of the hints, any of the details that Oda decided to include in this last panel. And one we haven't talked about yet is that Luffy is literally melting. And so this was actually a theory that other people made. I've never made this, but I've heard it. That people thought that Luffy's awakening would make him liquid, because rubber is made from liquid. Just as a side note, I just want to say that the theory that Luffy's awakening would make him liquid, be able to transform things around him as liquid, was so much better than Luffy, turning the world around him into a bouncy house. That was the most common theory because that was the most straightforward application of what we already knew. But also because it was straightforward.
I ain't gonna lie, I said that at one point about like him turning like everything around him into rubber so where he could just bounce around it, because I mean, like, I feel as though from what we've seen from Awakenings to this point, at least for Promethea, because we've seen like Zone Awakenings, we haven't really seen any Logia Awakenings just yet. But we have seen zone awakenings, right? We've seen it in Impel Down when we meet those jailers. And we seen Promethea. We seen it through Doflamingo, and we seen it through Katakuri. So I don't think it's a reach to believe that if Luffy was to awaken, what we always figured the Gummo Gummo no Mi is just him being rubber, right? Him just being a rubber man. So him awakening a rubber fruit, I don't think it's a reach to say like, because we know from seeing Doflamingo and Katakuri that when they use their awakening, they pretty much affect the environment, right? Like Doflamingo could turn buildings into strings. Katakuri was turning the mirror world walls and into mochi, right? To mochi blobs or whatever he wanted to do it. So I don't think it's that much of a reach to think that Luffy would do something similar and turn the walls or buildings or whatever is around him into rubber objects that he can bounce off of, right? I don't think it's a reach. Now, is that where we're gonna go? Probably not. Now that we're kind of starting to see this thing unravel with Luffy, it might be a liquid thing, But if we're talking about what, like a couple years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and we're talking about Luffy's Devil Fruit awakening, I don't think liquid is going to be like the first thing on most people's minds. Like not saying nobody thought of that, but I don't think most people would first think of it that way. Stan says, true, but look at Law and Kid. Their awakening is completely different from Katakuri and Dolphy. I know, I get that, but I'm talking about a couple years ago. I'm not talking about now. We seen Law and Kid's awakening what, a couple chapters ago? We seen Katakuri and Dolphy's awakenings what, like a couple years ago? You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about Luffy, who has a devil fruit, like it makes sense for Kid because like a lot of Promethea is going to be different, but when you look at Luffy, his devil fruit works closer to Katakuri's than it does somebody like Kid or Law. It even probably where you could probably say it works closer to maybe not Doflamingo so much, but yeah. I'm talking about like if we're talking about a couple years ago making a theory about like when we first seen Promethea Devil Fruit Awakenings, it would make sense for people to believe that Luffy's will work similar to a Katakuri and Law's, or not Law, Doflamingo, But yeah, now looking back at hindsight from what we've seen, when we're talking about right now, yes, we have Law and Kid's Devil Fruit to go off of as well. And you know what I'm saying? But that's now, right? That's now. Angel's Room said liquid rubber. Yeah, man. I mean that definitely makes sense, right? That definitely makes sense that, from last chapter, right?
Forward, it would have made it, I think, incredibly underwhelming and overall probably not very creative. If literally anybody could come up with Luffy's awakening, probably wasn't going to be a good choice. But now we're here and Luffy is melting, and I think that, it's awakening. That's what I think. It doesn't have to be, I suppose, but that just seems like the right answer. And you'll note that it isn't just Luffy that is melting, it's also Luffy's straw hat, which seems to coincide with Doflamingo's description of how an awakening should work. Even if it isn't a bouncy house, Luffy is transforming the nature of the world, inanimate objects around him, just like other examples we've seen. It's just in an entirely new form. So let's add this to the other things that were revealed in this moment and combine them all together, because that is what is most satisfying for me to do. Nika is Joy Boy. Nika and Joy Boy are possessing Luffy's body at the same time that Luffy's Devil Fruit is awakening. The tinfoil theory that makes the most sense to me right now, what I actually believe.
I kind of think Joy Boy and or Nika are the ones that's awakening this devil fruit, right? Like I don't think it's like it's just a coincidence they're awakening at the same time. I think the devil fruit awakening is a result of whatever is going on with this whole Joy Boy and Luffy thing, whether it's a possession, whether it's some transformation of Luffy, of who Luffy is, and like deeply or whatever. I don't know, but it's I think it's a more of a result of that. That's why I kind of think a possession could make sense, because maybe if Joy Boy is possessing Luffy's body, then he might know more about that devil fruit than Luffy knows, or he might just know more about devil fruits in general, so he can like just automatically awaken the devil fruit. Jay with the emojis. Man, go somewhere, man. Go somewhere, man. Go do something. Go play Rocket League or something, man. Dang. Nah, that's my boy, y'all. He's being weird. Stan says it's not his straw hat melting, it's his hair. I didn't see Luffy's straw hat melting. Stan said you can clearly see in the previous panel that his hat is on his back. Hey, I never said it was melting. That Joy Boy said it was melting. I mean, I might have copied what he said just to make a point, but I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the straw hat melting either, honestly. So, I didn't see. That's not how I seen it either. So I agree with you guys on that.
Is that Nika and Joy Boy, their souls, their spirits, reside within the Gomu Gomu no Mi. They are the devils which exist within the devil fruit. Okay. And it appears as though awakening the fruit, and maybe also while being unconscious and or dead, is a way in which this fact can be revealed. So let's just break it all down here and try to make sense of this. We know that Shanks stole the Gomu Gomu no Mi, that it was a fruit that had value to the world government and to Shanks. Shanks never intended to give it to Luffy, but Luffy ate it, and then afterwards Shanks decided to bet on Luffy. From this alone, you can presume that the Gomu Gomu no Mi is a devil fruit of some kind of importance. Yet throughout the story, no real attention was paid to Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi. In fact, most of the characters disregarded it as a lesser than fruit. So in part, this can be explained because they don't know the truth. They don't know about all of these secrets that have been covered up and locked.
Something he said that I actually like, that like he just said, not just said, but said a while ago. I was kind of waiting. I wanted to see if he was going to expand on it some more, but he never really expanded on it. I mean, he might still expand on it, but he said like maybe Joy Boy / Sun God Nika, their souls is living within the devil fruit. Right? So the fact that the devil fruit is awakening, it's almost awakening the souls within the devil fruit, right? I actually like that idea better. I like that explanation, because it kind of kills this idea that Luffy, like, for people who don't like the idea of One Piece, Luffy being the chosen one, right? Like, if you don't like that idea, I think that explanation, the explanation he just gave with that, is better, right? Because it's to say anybody who could, like, it's not necessarily that Luffy himself is special. It's more so that the fact that he ate a special devil fruit that kind of made him special. Like, he wasn't born special. He wasn't born the chosen one or anything. He ate the devil fruit, and the devil fruit made him special, right? Because he has a special devil fruit, So maybe whoever eats the Gomu Gomu no Mi inherits Joy Boy's will. I mean, I don't really know if I fully like that idea now that I'm kind of thinking about it in my head, but it kind of it's kind of a better explanation for those who don't like the idea of a chosen one, right? But yeah, I just kind of had to point that out, because it was an interesting point, right? The devil fruit, like maybe Joy Boy and Nika's soul is living within this devil fruit. So, because a lot of people think there has been theories about the Nika devil fruit or the Joy Boy devil fruit or whichever one you want to say. I think Best Gen wasn't that the video we did? Like, isn't that one his theory pretty much that I don't know if Best Gen is still in the chat, but isn't that your theory that it's the devil fruit, like Sun God devil fruit or the Nika devil, the chosen devil fruit? Or am I confusing it with somebody else? Sometimes I be watching so many I be doing so many of these reactions sometimes. It's like Angel's Room said Luffy is the chosen. I mean, that's what you believe. Or maybe he ate the chosen devil fruit. Let's continue.
To history. But at the same time, there's characters that would have known this, and that's clear enough by the way that the Gorosei reacted to Luffy, having Cyberpol basically go out of their way to ensure that he was defeated and killed. At the time and now, that felt like an oh shit moment. Luffy is close to becoming Joy Boy, or being a person who is a problem. And he wasn't before, but all of a sudden, as his fight with Kaido is going on, the Gorosei knee-jerk freak out. We must kill Luffy now. And so the easy answer is they did this because of Luffy's devil fruit. But we can't ignore literal hundreds of chapters in which it wasn't obvious that Luffy's fruit was important. So in my opinion, having the Gomu Gomu no Mi alone is not enough to warrant concern. And we might have gotten a hint about this through Kaido. After Kaido defeats Luffy and throws him into the ocean, he says, "So you couldn't be Joy Boy either." I presume that if Joy Boy is tied to the Gomu Gomu no Mi, there's been many people who have eaten the fruit over the course of history, but the majority of them, if not all of them, failed to become Joy Boy. So I think that there must be some step that Luffy has achieved that previous users of the Gomu Gomu no Mi didn't, and I think that that could be awakening. This is what the Gorosei said in chapter 1037. That's impossible. That fruit is nothing but a legend now, even for us. It hasn't awakened for centuries. To be clear, even now, it is still possible that the Gorosei are talking about another fruit. However, Luffy and his fruit may be doing something weird, so we're gonna go based on that. So if they are talking about the Gomu Gomu no Mi, it would be a confirmation of the theory that the step that previous users failed to achieve was awakening. And the reason why, even today, Luffy wasn't considered to be a threat, even though he had this fruit, is because they never expected it to awaken. I really expect quite a lot of people to complain about this detail, because, they're going to be dissatisfied, because all of a sudden the Gomu Gomu no Mi is important when it should have been important all along. But just honestly, guys, we don't know how devil fruits awaken. We don't know how common it is. And when you have 1,000 years of nobody awakening a devil fruit, it is very fair, in my opinion, for it to become something disregarded. So we're obviously in the weeds here, right? There's a lot of things, we're speculating a lot of things, and we're essentially forced to make too many assumptions because there's just so much possibility. But I haven't yet really focused on the craziest thing that I've said. Joy Boy and Nika are the devil in the devil fruit. I want you guys to keep this in mind. Death is a crucial theme, or an element, in Onigashima. And so we have the Fire Festival, and the idea of the Fire Festival is about communicating with the dead. The idea of the dead, they exist somewhere, all of this. We've talked previously in a speculation comparing the superstitions of Wano with the superstitions of the...
Yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. I knew, I had a feeling Joy Boy was going to bring it up, and this is pretty much why I chose this video, because I wanted to hear if he was going to connect it all together, right? But yeah, as far as the devil fruit thing, what if this whole thing is just a red herring, right? Like, what if what if this still has nothing to do with the devil fruit that they were talking about? Now I do think it is because the Gorosei was like, hey, we gotta kill Luffy, right? But what if that's for a different reason? Maybe that but what if they learn that he could potentially be Joy Boy? I don't know. I had a thought, but I kind of lost track of where it was because I was thinking about it as I was watching, and I was kind of started forgetting some of my points. But yeah, so I'm gonna just continue it. And then if I remember, I'll definitely bring it up again.
The Shandians thought that by playing music, their ancestors would be called down from the heavens to reside within trees. It's also a very common speculation, and this is canon in the original drafts of One Piece, which are no longer a thing, but they were a thing in one-shots, that devil fruits come from a tree, right? That's just, I'm pretty sure everyone believes that. In the one-shots of One Piece, there was only one devil fruit. It was the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and they called it the Gum Gum Tree. We also know that Smile devil fruit, which we do know how it is made roughly, involves trees, and the fruit come from trees. We also know that within a devil fruit exists some kind of spirit-like thing. The spirit-like thing was drawn in, I think it was Dressrosa, where they showed the cycle of the devil, how the person eats the devil fruit, they get the spirit of the devil within them, they die, and then the spirit of the devil fruit goes and inhabits another fruit, and so on and so forth. But it's depicted like a spirit. So just so we're clear here, alright, full transparency, what we know about devil fruits involves spirits and trees.
Yeah, spirits. Oh man, talking about spirits. Yeah, we definitely never had anything about spirits in One Piece before. We definitely never had. Let me stop, y'all.
The afterlife beliefs of the Shandians. We don't actually know what the devil in the devil fruit is. We don't know practically anything about devil fruits other than what they do to people. How were they created? How do they work? We will eventually get these answers, but we don't have them now. But I believe, as of this moment right now, that devil fruits were created from the souls of the people of the ancient kingdom. This great kingdom which existed in the past and is associated with Joy Boy's lost history. What happened?
Oh man, that is a bomb right there, I must say. Devil fruits are created by the souls of those from the ancient kingdom, right? Now we talked about or I've talked about, or I've done reactions to Eliz, right? Eliz has talked about pretty much souls or that people can make devil fruits, right? Like this is what we talked about before. And now this theory comes from Eliz. It's not originally mine, so I'm not, again, I don't take people's credit. But definitely Eliz talked about the possibility of pretty much being able to create your own devil fruit abilities without having a devil fruit, right? Just off, like maybe just using haki or your own will, right? We've seen things like this, right? We've seen Sanji his leg catch on fire, Now pre-time skip, he had to spin and use friction to pretty much light it on fire. But now after time skip, he could just ignite it, right? But the fire doesn't burn him, Now I think Oda kind of explained it, He did like say, oh, it's because of Sanji's fiery soul, but come on now, I mean, it's the reason why I didn't burn him, right? So anyway, Sanji's pretty much able to he can pretty much create fire, right, at will, right? Zoro, we've seen Zoro pretty much create a godly being. He almost becomes Ashura to a degree. He creates an extra set of 2 heads, right? Like I think he has like 3 heads altogether, like 6 arms, 6 legs, and 9 swords, right? So just off of that, that's kind of a superpower type of move. That's kind of like a devil fruit ability if you kind of think about it, right? Um, I want to say Brook using ice, but I don't think that's really attributed to his devil fruit. But that's kind of attributed to him being uh, close to the underworld, right? And if you look at the underworld, there's some depictions of the underworld being cold, right? Like death being cold. So he could kind of, he could kind of, I don't want to say summon, but manifest ice, right? But that could you could kind of attribute that to his devil fruit ability. So I'm gonna kind of leave that one alone. But Luffy, when he does Red Hawk, right? Kind of like he's almost using an attack like Ace, like an Ace attack, right? The whole Red Hawk. So, and because that's not really attributed to rubber, even though you could say friction, but where is the friction coming from? But despite that, you know, Eliz in his explanation of understanding hockey, he kind of ultimately is like, hey, people could create their own devil fruit abilities, and if that is the case, you look back in the ancient kingdom, maybe they were good at creating their own devil fruit abilities, right? Like they can, they had such a mastery of hockey that some people was able to turn into fire or turn into magma, and when they died, maybe they were buried all in the same spot, and you get this tree that might, or maybe not the same spot, maybe like 2 different locations, one on top of Marijoa, other maybe Elbath. I'm speculating, I've seen some people speculate that one of the Adam trees in Elbath, right? That's a common theory. So just going off of that speculation, let's just say it is, right? Just for the sake of explanation. Then they were, these 2 cemeteries, right? Create these trees that pretty much create these devil fruits. So each devil fruit is probably the soul of somebody from the ancient kingdom. And that would kind of make sense why they call them devil fruit, because if the world government named them the devil fruits, then they looked at the people from the ancient kingdom as devils, right? Or if not people from the ancient kingdom solely, maybe specific people from the ancient kingdom, like the D's, right? The people who carry the will of D. And maybe those are the people that are buried. And if the D, like maybe some people speculate that the D stands for devil, right? Even people say, what's his name? Corazon said that the D's are the enemies of God. Now, who is the enemy of God in the Bible, right? The devil. So they looked at the D's as the devil. So I could see the world government classifying these fruits that come from these people they consider the devil fruits. It kind of makes sense. It kind of do make sense, right? Kind of do make sense. Angel's Room said, Lamo, yeah, I've been thinking thinking about that idea for a while. Promethea fruit or flame fruit. Oh, I thought you was talking about the whole me saying like how I was being sarcastic when I was saying, man, what did I say? I tell y'all my memory is bad. I'm forgetting something that happened like a couple minutes ago, right? Whatever. But yeah, I think you're responding to what I said when I was just being when I was being sarcastic. But yeah, let's continue.
To them, I think that their spirits were in some way. We don't have an answer for this, and we're not going to have an answer for this, so this is a total asshole, but in some way trapped within the cycle of devil fruits. I think that in order for this to make sense, the world government has to know how to trap someone's soul and then create a devil fruit. It's worth noting that not all devil fruits are ancient. There are some that are newer than others. So, if you guys allow me a moment just to go off the walls and crazy specific just for the sake of it, just so that I can express to you sort of my headcanon for this idea. First off, I think that reincarnation is real in the world of One Piece. I think that it's possible that Emu and the world government want to play God. That is to say, choose who gets reborn and who doesn't. So if you trap a soul within a devil fruit, that soul is not reborn into the world. So it's a fate given to the people that the world government perceives as the worst of the worst, or the most dangerous to everybody else. And that included Joy Boy. But over a period of 900 years, many others were also erased from history, erased from the cycle of rebirth. And they were aptly named devils. It's worth noting that many of the members of the Strat crew are all given epithets, or not all, but many are given epithets related to demons or devils. Notably among them, Devil Child
Robin.
Nico Robin. It associates the idea of devil.
I'm going Robin and Zoro because Zoro has Enma. Now, he's not necessarily called a devil, but he has Enma, and Enma was the king of hell, right? So if he has Enma, that would make him the king of hell. Like, especially if he tames Enma, he'd be the king of hell.
And people like the Straw Hats, the heroes of the story, are the devils. Then apply this to Joy Boy and the Gomu Gomu no Mi. It's a thing I think works. Devils.
Oh yeah, and when we was talking about the whole spirit thing, that's what I was being sarcastic about, that whole spirit thing, right? About like the possibilities of spirits coming back or whatever. That's funny.
Who oppose gods. These celestial dragons. But yeah, guys, obviously we're filling in a lot of blanks here that, it's an impossible task, I think. But you guys know that I need something to believe. When we have some sort of crazy thing happen, I need something to believe, and this is what it currently is. But the other speculation is that when a user awakens a devil fruit, or consumes a devil fruit, we don't know for sure, they somehow become part of the devil fruit. So, Joy Boy may be dead, but Joy Boy originally ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and part of him still resides within that fruit. That's another way of looking at this. Either way, I prefer any interpretation that includes the Gomu Gomu no Mi as the reason why Joy Boy appeared. And overall, I'd say that there's a lot of things that we need clarification on, but the biggest one, the most immediate one, I feel like that we might get an answer for, is how does this relate with prophecy? What does Kaido know? Kaido said you couldn't be Joy Boy either, so did he think that Luffy, that once somebody died, that they would show themselves to be Joy Boy? What exactly did he mean? And just random aside here, does this relate to Kaido's own desire to die? Did he try to become Joy Boy through death or near death, but maybe didn't know that the Gomu Gomu no Mi was important if that's how this works? And what's the clarification on Shanks? What exactly did Shanks know? I think that maybe the story of Joy Boy.
Man, we was talking about Kaido trying to die, yesterday. Same thing we was talking about. That might be why Kaido been trying to die, so he could become Joy Boy, right? Like, maybe that's what he believed, but, obviously, if it has something to do with your devil fruit, then he missing a few pieces of the puzzle, But that's if it does have something to do with the devil fruit. I kind of still believe that it's Luffy in a sense, because I guess the devil fruit could explain some things, right? Though, so it could explain why Luffy's personality is so carefree. Maybe it's the trait that the personality of the devil fruit, right? Maybe that's why, So I don't know how I honestly feel. Like, it's one of the things I might just have to kind of sit on about the idea, like whether it's like it's Luffy that's special or it's the devil fruit that's special because it has Joy Boy's soul in it, right? I kind of like that idea because it kind of could explain a lot of the origin of the devil fruits, right? That they all came from people who lived at once in the ancient kingdom, or even after the ancient kingdom. Like, maybe they died and their bodies were buried where both the Adam tree and Eve tree currently are, right? And all these people that were buried there all had special abilities. So, like, and so now they turn into devil fruits, and the devil fruit pretty much retains their abilities of the original user, right? And also somewhat of their personalities, you know. Then yeah, that makes that could make sense, especially when you looking at like the origins of the devil fruit, you know. But I kind of like but then there's I kind of like the idea that maybe Luffy is just kind of a joy boy of his time, and it's not the devil fruit, you know. Even though, like, I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about it because I'm not that crazy about the whole chosen one theme, but if it's like, are you a chosen devil fruit, right? Like, is that better than the chosen one? Like Luffy just happened to eat the chosen devil fruit, you know? Yeah, I'm kind of like a little. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but let's continue.
What he became, what happened to him was mentioned on the poneglyphs. That's fair. So Roger and Rayleigh knew, thereby Shanks could know. So then he sought out the Gomu Gomu no Mi because he was told that it was important to give it to maybe the right person. Luffy ended up eating it, so Shanks decided to believe in him. But like specifically, what exactly does Shanks know? Oden was absolutely certain that Joy Boy would appear in Wano after 20 years, and that's exactly what happened, according to Zunisha. It also appears that the Gorosei and the world government knew something, because it wasn't until very recently, when it appeared as though Luffy was going to defeat Kaido, that I feel as though they took Luffy seriously. For hundreds of chapters, Luffy's done an enormous number of things of significance, but it isn't until this moment, just before now, that I felt like they viewed him as a real threat. Why now? But in actuality, Kaido defeats Luffy, and that's when Joy Boy appears. So did they not know that they were essentially causing Joy Boy to appear? Did they not know that? Or were they trying to make Joy Boy appear? Was that, that's what seems like a reasonable thought to me, because this moment doesn't necessarily happen without the world government's interference. It's a lot to unpack. Actually, I think it's too much to unpack. But I absolutely want to remind you guys that the end of this chapter is very open-ended. It's very vague, so let your minds run wild. This is absolutely a chapter where, tell me what you think. What conclusions have you come to? Because they are just as valid as anyone else, pretty much. There was an insane high after I read the chapter. We got to this last panel and it's just like, oh my god. And then for me, this is my experience. You're just barraged with thoughts until you're brain dead. That's where I'm at now. All I really know is I cannot wait.
That's where I'm at right now too. I ain't gonna lie to you guys.
Like, there was, this is just the end of the chapter. There was the rest of the chapter, and I almost don't feel like talking about it. Like, seriously, I almost don't feel like talking about it so that I can obsess and go through all the possible scenarios for what this could be. And I know that's probably a bad idea.
Bruh, I'm feeling just like Joy Boy right now.
This hit me harder than Emu and the Giant Straw Hat, honestly. Like, this alone changes the game entirely. You've got something important. It's a puzzle piece. It fits somewhere, and there's so many pieces. You have so many pieces already. You feel as though you can solve the puzzle, and in the attempt to do so, you realize, oh my god, I am terrible at this. That's how it is. But anyway, guys, obviously this chapter was insane and awesome. This is just about as good as it gets once again.
All right, that's pretty much he's just wrapping up right there. So I'm gonna make sure I give your boy Joy Boy Theories a like. The link to this video is in the description box, so y'all make sure y'all go support your boy Joy Boy, right? Man, what he said at the end, that's how I feel, man. Like, that's why it's so hard to talk today, man. Like, my thoughts are just, my wires are just it's like the more I feel as though I'm like closer to having the answer, it's like I feel as though more questions pop up, right? Like just more questions pop up. So like I'm legit since like yesterday, my brain's been pretty fried. That's why today I might be a little off because my brain is just fried with just information overload. And it's not even like they gave us a lot of information. It was more about what they gave us and how much questions came about it. You know, how much speculation, how much just a lot from it, man. Like that was a great moment right there. That was a great chapter. It was a great moment. You know, I don't know if I feel as though it's the best chapter ever. I've heard people say it's the best chapter. If you think it is, let me know in the comments or the chat. You whatever you want to do. If you want to think it's the best, do you think it's the best chapter of the arc? Do you think it's the best chapter of a series? Like what do y'all think? I personally wouldn't go that far. I think it was a great chapter. I don't know if I give it best chapter of the arc, let alone the whole story, right? But if we're just going off of the year, even though this year just kind of started, right? We're only like 3/4 of the way in, or not 3/4. We're a quarter of the way in, right? So, or not, we're almost a quarter. No, we are a quarter. I'm see again. I can't even formulate my thoughts correctly because it's just so much thoughts just right, so much going on in my head because of this chapter. It's hard to formulate thoughts, man. I'm definitely sorry for that, y'all. But man, like like what do you say, man? Like I was definitely say it's the best chapter so far of the year. You know. Maybe even the last 2 years. You could probably even throw last year in there. I don't know because I thought we started with a great chapter last year, right? My name is Straw Hat, or my name is Straw Hat, right? I think that was the title of chapter 1000 that we got like the beginning of last year. It was a great moment for different. It was a great chapter for different reasons, though. You know, it was just kind of a momentous thing that we seen. But yeah, man, I really ain't got nothing else, man, for real. Angel's Room said, "True that, bro." Like this chapter just haven't been having me thinking a lot, man. It been having me thinking a lot, and then I'm thinking about it. That's why it's just so hard to like to like for this stream. It's been so hard to formulate coherent ideas for me because I just got so many different questions and so much different things just running through my mind to where it's like I could be in the middle of explaining something and a whole new thought that might contradict what I'm currently explaining pops into my mind, and then it just ties me up because I'm like, hold on, let me stop what I'm about to say because I think I might be wrong because this new thought that popped up is kind of contradicting what I'm saying, right? Yeah, man, it's been a good it's been a good chapter, man. You know, it was a great chapter, wonderful chapter, loved it. You know, just the last page alone, it's just so many years, right? So many years culminating into like this one moment, right? And next chapter, you know, we'll definitely get some more. I'm sure of it, right? We'll get some more explanation, maybe, or just something that's going to give us an idea of what's happening, right? So, you know, because I know there's a lot of decisiveness in the community right now. A lot of people got different beliefs. You know, some people think Luffy might die. Some people don't. You know, people arguing about the voice of all things and voices and everything. And is it normal Haki that you could hear voices, or is it the voice of all things where you could hear voices? I mean, we all know the truth now. Come on, y'all. It's the voice of all things. It ain't normal Haki. Y'all gotta get it together, man. Y'all gotta get that together, man. Come on, y'all. I'm trying to help y'all see the light here. I'm trying to teach y'all. Y'all just gotta take my hand and listen. No, I'm just messing with y'all. Angel's Room said, "True that. Next chapter probably going to focus on Zoro or CP0. Yeah, I could see something like that happening. Oda going to like he gonna wait before he give us something, right? He gonna wait before he gives us what's happening. But I could see something Zoro, maybe Zoro getting up and fighting Kaido and get defeated again. You know, maybe Zoro and Sanji, right? Sanji's still up. You know, maybe we see Zoro with an upgrade, and maybe during his time near death, he he was able to achieve having black blades, right? And he steps up to fight Kaido, like at least Enma. You know, maybe he turns Enma into a black blade, and him and Sanji both fight Kaido, right? Yeah. Bro, I knew I shouldn't have said that. Hey, man, you just not gonna let you just gonna argue me to death about this whole hockey situation. But that's my fault. I brought it up though. It's my fault. I can't be mad at you. Said, boy, you can hear human voices with normal hockey. If that's what you believe, power to you, man. Power to you, Angels Room. Shout out to Angels Room for believing that. Shout out to him. Look, man, I don't know. How about that? Let's both agree that we don't know. We're just we just arguing both what we speculating, but we don't know for a fact, you know. Cause maybe Law has voice of all things as well, you know. Cause like, you know, you did show me some evidence, but I don't really believe your evidence was convincing. It wasn't convincing for me, you know. But yeah, anyway, y'all, again, my brain's fried, y'all. You know, my brain's fried. It been fried since yesterday's stream. You know, so, you know, I don't really have much else to add. I just need to gain my grips right now. Angel's Room said, did you see Sanji's blue flames for the new cover? I did not see Sanji's blue flames. I didn't know he had blue flames, but you sure it's not something to do with Marco, maybe? LO Shore on IG. Said LO Shore. You said IG. Instagram? So on Instagram. I don't know, man. Just send it to me. Post it in the Discord somewhere. Right? I'll check it out. You know, I haven't seen the cover though, but post it in the Discord. It says, see you, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to Angel's Room, man. You know, I know we disagree a lot, you know, but hey, it's all fun. It's all fun. It's all good. It's good. I'm glad y'all challenged me. Y'all should challenge me. You know, you Stan, y'all love challenging me. I love when y'all challenge me. You know, y'all sharpen my theories. You know, y'all make good points though. You know, I will say that. But anyway, y'all, you know, it's your boy Sean P, the Bluff God, and you know, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, as well as follow me on my social media, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook page. And if you're looking for a One Piece community to be a part of, we have the One Piece Discord. We also have the One Piece Facebook group. All of these will be linked in the description, as well as Joy Boy's video, so y'all could go to his channel and show him some love. Angel's Room says, see you, man. Now it was a new volume, I guess. Well, yeah, just post it in the Discord. I'll check it out. If you still know where it is, post it there, you know, so then I can see what you're talking about these blue flames. But anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.